every once in a while, your team has a certain type of player. Yeah, he puts up decent numbers, maybe he has some good analytics, but you know for a fact, if he wasn't on the top line, he wouldn't be 1/10 the player. Think, I don't know, Anthony Duclair. The man at one point last season was one of the best and most efficient goal scorers in the entire league. Move over OB, Anthony Duclair, as he put up 21 goals in 37 games, meaning he was on pace for nearly a 50-goal season. But after a fantastic start, Duclair would only put up 2 goals in the next 29 games. Now, picture this. Every team in the NHL is salivating about the idea of that 50-goal scorer. So imagine if the Ottawa Senators traded Duclair while he was still hot and received a 50-goal scorer premium. That would be the trade of the decade. Now, of course this didn't happen, but luckily we have seen numerous cases of this exact scenario. Teams trading players at the exact right moment, receiving way too much than they probably should have gotten, while at the same time the player they traded away regresses. Cory Conacher, standing in at 5'8" on a good day with a late development curve, Conacher would go completely undrafted in the 2008 NHL draft. But he would go on to completely light up the NCAA. 53 points in his best season and a nice little NCAA AHA Player of the Year award, which would earn him a nice little free agency signing with the Tampa Bay Lightning. And in his first season of professional hockey, Conacher would light up the AHL, posting an incredible 80 points and 114 penalty minutes in his first season. And with all this production, it would land him a roster spot the very next season with the big boys, where Conacher would seize the opportunity and put up a nice 24 points in 35 games. Not bad. And well, around this time, the Ottawa Senators had a bit of an issue. That is, they had 3 starting goaltenders, as Robin Lehner, Craig Anderson, and Ben Bishop were all putting up insane numbers. And as for the Bolts, they also needed a solid goaltender they can rely on. So, the Ottawa Senators would ship off their elite starting goaltender in Ben Bishop for Cory Conacher in a 4th round pick. The very next season, Ben Bishop would emerge as one of the best goaltenders in the entire NHL, as he would finish top 3 in Vezina voting, which he would also do several more times in his career, as well as many All-Star appearances. Whereas the very next season, Cory Conacher, the guy Ottawa traded for a Vezina quality goaltender, would play so poorly he would be shipped down on waivers and claimed for nothing from the Buffalo Sabres. So on the topic of perfect timing, the Tampa Bay Lightning virtually received an all-star Vezina contending goaltender for a 4th round pick. Not bad, Stevie. PK Subban. After being traded in a massive 1-for-1 blockbuster deal for Shea Weber, Subban would arrive in Smashville. And you know what? And it's something that I feel like many tend to forget, Subban was still a legitimate stud for the Preds, and even finished 3rd in Norris voting in his 2nd season with the Predators. But there was still a slightly, massive $9 million issue. For the past decade, basically since the inception of the Predators, Nashville under David Poile have always been that defense-first team. I mean, hey, considering that they are literally a pipeline for all-star defensemen, I would say they're doing a pretty good job. But they also run into many issues involving scoring, and they definitely rely on their defense a bit too much. And after the introduction of Dante Fabro proving he has that upside, and the fact that they were coming on a good free agency market, the Predators would unload their Norris-winning defensemen for Steve Santini, Jeremy Davies, and 2 second-round picks. And at the time, people were like, what? I mean, yeah, he does have a $9 million cap, but that's all it took? A decent prospect in 2 seconds? God damn. However, little did they know, PK Subban went from a top 5 D-man in the league to analytically a $9 million pylon. For real though, I do love Subban, I'm a big fan, and he has been bouncing back really well this season. But the Predators perfectly timed missing a $9 million bullet, received some great assets, and with the extra cap space, they were able to land Matt Duchene in free agency. Which, I mean, you know, Matty could be doing a bit better scoring this year, but they definitely did not need Subban, and it paid off. Max Domi, ×2. Back in the 2013 NHL draft, the Arizona Coyotes were handed a gift, as Max Domi would fall straight into their laps at number 12. And after dominating the OHL for a couple seasons, Max Domi would enter the league, and well, he impressed. 52 points in his first season, 38 in an injury-prone season the next year. Except, in year 3, the Arizona Coyotes were starting to lose their rebuild momentum and an identity. Not to mention Domi would put up a shockingly low 9 goals. Thus, he would be shipped off to the Habs for a former 30-goal scorer in Alex Galchenyuk. And at the time, people were roasting Mark Bergerman for this horrendous deal. But little did they know, Max Domi would erupt the next season with 72 points. Whereas Alex Galchenyuk went from that potential 40-goal scorer to 41 points the next season, 17 the next year, and is currently playing in the minors. Not bad considering that Bergerman was about to be hunted in the streets in Montreal. And it doesn't even stop there. Domi the next season would see huge offensive progression, going from a nice 70-point season to 44. And he would get shipped off again, 1 year removed from a dominant 70-point season for an unproven power forward. Pretty ballsy. Again, this deal made everyone confused how Bergerman even has a job, as they would swap Domi for Josh Anderson. However, Domi is -15 with 3 goals in 27 games. Whereas Josh Anderson is a chaotic wrecking ball that hits everything that moves, and has put up 10 goals and 14 points. So talk about perfectly timed trades, Bergerman in the past 3 years has pulled off exactly that. And we will end with what is hands down one of the best timed trades in NHL history. Because like I covered in my Rise and Fall video of Erik Karlsson, I'll link it down below if you haven't seen it already, go watch it. Erik Karlsson is one of the best puck-moving defensemen the game has ever seen. And with that being said, the narrative was simple. No matter what you get back in return, your franchise is losing an all-time great. So winning any trade scenario that involves losing Erik Karlsson was gonna be a near impossible task. And after the complete and utter implosion of the Ottawa Senators, which saw the departure of several elite stars, Erik Karlsson would be shockingly traded to the San Jose Sharks for a plethora of assets. But at the time it was definitely, yeah, there's quantity here, but that does not compensate for the loss of a near generational defenseman. Well, honestly, that couldn't have worked out better for the Sens. I'm gonna be honest here. In a lose-lose situation for the Sens, they would trade Erik Karlsson at the perfect timing. As not only has Erik Karlsson been plagued with injuries with the $11.5 million contract, which you know Melnyk wanted nothing to do with, but considering that Ottawa was entering a complete rebuild and received pick number 3, which turned out to be a potential franchise center, Josh Norris, alongside of several other great assets, the Ottawa Senators went from a lose-lose situation to looking like absolute geniuses. Because guess what? The San Jose Sharks are at the bottom of the standings this season with next to no cap space. And they traded away their future. Whereas the Senators are at the bottom of the standings, but they have a plethora of high-end franchise-changing prospects. And well, they also don't have that near $12 million defenseman under their cap. Anyways guys, what is the most perfectly timed trade your team has ever made? Or just a trade you can think of in general? Comment down below, I'd love to know. And make sure to press subscribe for some more awesome hockey content. We are on the road to 50,000 subscribers, and your support would truly make my day. I hope you all are doing well. Thanks for watching.